Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to start the chapter 2 polynomials. Before we start the chapter, let us understand the basic terms of variables and constant in the polynomial topic. Let me ask you a simple question. How old are you now? Some of them are 14 years old or 15 years or 16 years old, right? So suppose I am 32 years old now. So next year, will my age remain the same as 32? No, right? What will happen? It increases by 1 year, right? Every year it is going to increase by one. Since my age, like since everybody's age is going to change every year, we can say age is a variable, right? So age is an example of variable. Okay, so variable is always changes, variable's value is always changes. For example, if I'm representing my age as x, this year I'm 32 years, so x is 32. Next year the x value will be 33, right? So if the value gets changed, it is called variable, and we call this as unstable. Okay, so variable is unstable because it always changes. It is not a stable value, it is unstable. And let's come to the constant. What is constant? For example, there are 7 days in a week, right? Can I say there are 8 days in a week or 10 days in a week? No, right? So we cannot say like that because it is constant. There are only 7 days in a week and there are 12 months in a year. So this is and all fixed. We cannot change it, right? So it is a stable value. So the value never changes or called constant. For example, the numbers 5, -2, 100, 1000. So these are the numbers which has a fixed value. That is constant. Constant is stable, which never changes. Variables always changes. That is unstable. Okay. So next topic is polynomial in one variable. Let us look into this example, 4x plus 2. So which letter is used here? X is the only letter we have used, no? X is the only variable we have used, no? So this equation, always the equation we call it as a polynomial, and 4x plus 2 is a polynomial in one variable x. So what is that one variable we have used in this equation? X is the only one variable we have used in this equation. So 4x plus 2 is a polynomial in variable x. And let's come to the second example, y square plus 2y. Can you see what is the variable we have used? Y is the only variable, right? It may be y square, y cube, y power 4. That doesn't matter, okay? But we have used only one variable, which is y. So it is a polynomial in one variable. And what variable is it? Y. So in a variable y. Okay, so polynomial in one variable means that equation contains only one variable. Okay, so let us try by yourself. What is the polynomial? Like how many variables are there in the equation x plus y? So x plus y means you have two variables, right? There is x and also y. So that is not a one variable equation. Okay. So coefficient. What is coefficient? The number attached to the variable is called coefficient. So can you see this is y square is the variable, y is the variable. So what is the number attached to y square? 3. So coefficient of y square is 3 and number attached to y is plus 2. So coefficient of y is plus 2. And what is constant? Constant is the value which doesn't have variable. So here -5. Always write with the symbols. So negative symbols you should write. Constant value is -5. So what is coefficient? The number attached to the variables is called coefficient. Next topic is degree of polynomials. What is degree of polynomial? So polynomial is an equation, right? So I have two equations here. So degree means you take the first equation, highest power of the variable. What is the variable here? X is the only variable in this equation, right? What is the highest power of the variable x? 4, right? So 3 is also there, but 3 is lesser than 4. So highest power of the variable in the equation, we call it as degree of the polynomial. So for this polynomial, degree is 4. For this polynomial, what is the highest power of variable y in this equation? 6, no? So degree of the polynomial will be 6. So whenever you have an equation, you wanted to find the degree of that equation. Equation, we call it as polynomial, okay? So whenever you have a polynomial equation, you wanted to find degree of polynomial, you just find out the variable of that equation. Here in this first equation, x is the variable. And what is the highest power of the variable x? 4. So degree is 4. And in this equation, y is the variable. And what is the highest power of the variable y? 6. So degree of the polynomial is 6. Okay. So next topic is types of polynomial. So we have many types of polynomial: constant, linear, quadratic, cubic, biquadratic, like that. Okay. So first one is constant polynomial. We have already discussed about what is constant, right? Constant polynomial is the fixed value which has a number like 6, 700, 2000, like that, right? So let us take an example of the number 6 which has a fixed value. And if you wanted to write this numbers representing the numbers in the form of variables, means you can write with the x power 0 or y power 0 or z power 0, because we know anything power 0 is 1, right? So x power 0 is also 1. So anything power 0 is 1. So if I write 6 into x power 0, I'll end up with 6 into 1, which is 6. The value never changes, right? So always remember, for constant polynomial, degree of the polynomial is 0. So x to the power, x highest power is 0 in the constant polynomial. So this is for MCQ purpose. They used to ask what is the degree of polynomial in 6, or in what is the degree of polynomial in 800, like that. So that time, when you have the constant polynomial, you must write constant polynomial degree is 0. And linear polynomial. Any polynomial which has a degree 1 is called linear polynomial. Degree 1 means the variable must have power of 1, right? So here x plus 7. So here the power is 1. Variable's power is 1. Y plus 2. Variable's power is 1. So any polynomial with degree 1 is called linear polynomial. Constant polynomial means degree 0. Linear polynomial is degree 1. And quadratic polynomial is any polynomial with degree 2 are called quadratic. So here the degree power of the variable is 2. Highest power of the variable is 2. So here the degree is 2. Quadratic polynomial have a degree 2. Cubic polynomial have a degree 3. Highest power of the variable is 3. So next, very important for MCQ. Now let's learn the 3 golden rules. If any one rule is broken, it is not a polynomial. Okay. So any one rule is broken out of these 3 golden rules, that then we can say it is not a polynomial. Suppose if in any equation have a variable to the negative power. So variable's power should not be in negative. If the variable power is in negative, then we say it is not a polynomial. This is very important for MCQs. Just make a note of it, students. Negative power in a variable is not allowed. See, in a variable's power, variable's power should not be in negative. You can have 3 to the power minus 2 or 400 power minus 2. But x to the power minus 2 or y to the power minus 2 is not a polynomial. So variable's power should not be in negative. Next one, fractional powers. Fractional powers is not allowed. When fractional power to the variable, so x to the power 3 by 2, x to the power 1 by 3, also the root values of x or y in a variable. So for example, root x means, so x to the power 1 by 2, right? What is root x? You can write it as x to the power 1 by 2. So root values of variable is also not a polynomial, and fractional powers in a variable is not a polynomial. So third one, variables in a denominator. So can we have variables in a denominator? So here 3 by x, 5 by x square, it is not a polynomial. So variable should not be in the denominator. Only the constant must have in denominator. Variable should be in the numerator. Here variables are in denominator, no, so it is not a polynomial. So first rule is variable should not contain negative powers. Second rule is variable should not contain fractional powers. And third rule is variable should not be in the denominator. So please make a note of it. This is very important for MCQ. So next one, we are going to start with the important formula, which is relation between zeros of the polynomial and coefficient of the polynomial. We have already discussed about coefficient, right? What is coefficient of the polynomial? So the number attached to the variable is called coefficient. We have discussed here. X square coefficient is A, X's coefficient is B, and C is the constant, right? Like, what is zero of polynomial? A zero of polynomial is the value of X that makes the polynomial equation to 0. A zero of polynomial is a value of x. For example, if it is a polynomial, if I put any value on the in the place of x, this whole equation becomes 0. Then the value of x, we call it as 0 of the polynomial. Okay. So, and the coefficient is A is the coefficient of x square, B is the coefficient of x, and C is the constant. And the formulas you need to memorize: sum of zeros is equal to, we always have the zeros as alpha and beta. If I get x value as 2 and 3, so alpha is 2, beta is 3. For quadratic equation, we used to get two values. Okay, that is why we are taking alpha and beta. Alpha plus beta equal to minus b by a, which is sum of zeros. Product means you have to multiply alpha into beta equal to c by a. What is a, b, c? We have already discussed. No, a is the coefficient of x square, b is the coefficient of x, and c is the constant. Okay, so this is all about zeros of the form. So if alpha and beta the zeros of the quadratic polynomial equation, then sum of zeros alpha plus beta is minus b by a. Product of zeros alpha beta is c by a. So next one, if alpha and beta are the zeros of quadratic polynomial. Suppose in the question they have given the value of alpha, value of beta. You need to find out the quadratic polynomial now. Okay, what is the first formula? They have given the quadratic polynomial. You have to find sum of zeros and product of zero and verify the relationship between the coefficient and the zeros. Okay, but in the second formula, they used to give alpha and beta value. You have to find the quadratic polynomial. Quadratic polynomial is like degree power 2, you have to get like x square, ax square plus bx plus c, that format. So p of x is equal to k into k is some constant. Okay, x square minus alpha plus beta of x plus alpha beta. You just have to substitute alpha beta values here, okay, to get the equation. Kindly subscribe to our channel to get more videos on important question types of Adi Sharma and previous year question papers. So stay connected to our channel, students. See you next class. Bye bye.